strikes. Again, and again, and again.
So you see, Ellie, what you call death may be only the temporary absence of life. You're a witch!
Blood and lace. Hiding among the innocent. A vicious hammer killer. She searched the dark corridors of the unknown.
Right, okay, and here's the last of the Mexican lobby cards for the time being. Already looked at most of the slasher ones and also the giallo. This is kind of what I term to be the proto-slasher. And again, obviously, as across the world, these films got seen in lots of different countries, including Mexico. And again, Mexico made some of the best lobby cards. Now this one is for Alice, Sweet Alice, which is also known as Communion. I can't speak Spanish, so I don't know what that is as a translation, but this is fantastic, again, artwork here. It's one of my favourite ones. I mean, arguably it's not a slasher, but Shriek of Mutilated is a very cheap Bigfoot movie from the early 1970s. But again, I just love this artwork. It's fantastic. It's one that I remember seeing the pictures for on video when I was quite young and thinking it would be absolutely terrifying. Of course, now I know it's different. Here's one for the British horror movie. Again, it's not really a slasher movie, but Horror Hospital, which is a great slice of British early 70s hokum, which is great fun. I thoroughly recommend that. Okay, and with this, this is Psychopath, which again is one of the rip-offs of Psycho. They came a great wave of them came out. In fact, it was written by Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho, the screenplay for Psycho. So again, that's looking at that fantastic artwork, very similar to the giallo artwork. And now this is for Fright, another proto-slasher. In fact, it was kind of like possibly an influence on Halloween. It's got Susan George in it as a menaced babysitter who gets unwanted visits by a psychopath during the night. Now, this is what's this one? Oh, of course, there's always this way that I always forget at least one of them. Twisted Nerve, I think, is this one. And again, it's one of the kind of the late Psycho rip-offs, which is quite controversial on its release, but it's fantastic pop art artwork there. This one's an interesting one. It's a typical of Mexican lobby card. This is actually Violent Midnight, which is a great little proto-slasher from I think it's the early 60s, or it could be the late 50s, which has a killer very reminiscent to the Prowler. So a very interesting proto-slasher, but quite interesting is none of these, that image, black and white image, comes from the film, but the rest of these, Anita Strindberg certainly isn't in the film. None of the rest of them are actually in the film, so it's quite interesting. They were selling that film with images that weren't in it. Now, this fantastic Vincent Price film, Madhouse, again, not really a slasher, although, funnily enough, it does have some slasher elements of a killer wielding, I think, a big sword in a skull mask, which is, I think it's this one that has that. It was one of the Vincent Price films, and of course, a lot of his could be termed proto-slashers. Let's excuse Gilbert there. This is the 1950s version of Jack the Ripper, and again has some definite slasher motifs in it, and moments which would be lifted for the slasher movie in later years. Now this is Scream of Fear, or it's also known as something else, and I can't remember. And again, it is one of those films that was a rip-off of Psycho. This one had Christopher Lee in it, and again, fantastic pop art. And yet another Psycho rip-off. This one is, gosh, I should have remembered to look at these, but I think this is it On Till Morning? No, Night Must Fall, that's the one, Night Must Fall. Got Albert Finney and Susan Hampshire in this. And it goes to show it's a remake, actually, of a 1930s film, I think, and it's got the classic scene of a headless head in a hat box. And again, look at this fantastic pop art here. Now this is And Soon the Darkness, which is the Brian Clements early, I think in 1970, British film set in France. Again, it has some very striking elements, very close to the slasher movie or proto-slasher, with two girls menaced by a psycho while on a cycling holiday. And unusually, a lot of it is set in blinding sunshine, which is unusual. Another British proto-slasher here. You got Pete Walker's Schizo, which says, as you can see, there's Stephanie Beacham, who's more normally known for fighting or punching Joan Collins in Dynasty. I think she was in then fighting with psychos in Proto-slashers. Scream Bloody Murder, another great sort of proto-slasher and early mid-70s grindhouse classic. And talking grindhouse classics, how about this one? This is The Love Butcher, and again it's showing the picture. This is original artwork. It's probably on the VHS cover, and it shows the killer there. But down there you have an image from Giallo, so it's very much mix and match. Now, look at this artwork here. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? It's Poor Albert and Little Annie. Again, not really a slasher movie as such, but I couldn't resist that artwork. Now, I think we are coming into actually some of the ones we didn't see before, because I haven't put them with the others yet, but some of the latest ones. Again, another one from Funeral Home. Another one from X-Ray. We saw one of those in the previous things, but again, some fantastic shots which were shot. We've got a few of these actual original photos. These were shot, but they weren't actually in the movie as far as I can remember, so they were staged. Here's a proto-slasher. One of my favourites actually is Blood and Lace. Not Blood and Black Lace, but again, what it has is a crispy killer, or is he really a crispy killer, and great hammer murders many years before Freddy Krueger. And perhaps lastly, this is The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, and what better way to end than on a teenage victim looking very, very bloody. And that's all Mexican lobby cards for now.